The room was buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft strains of a string quartet. It was the kind of wedding that made everyone feel like they had stepped into a fairy tale, flowing white dresses, golden sunlight streaming through the windows, and love hanging in the air like a tangible thing. But amidst the joy, one small boy was watching quietly from the corner, his little hands clasped nervously in front of him, eyes wide as if he had just discovered a secret the rest of the world hadn't yet noticed. No one could have imagined that, in just a few moments, this little boy would say something that would make the entire room stop, hold its breath, and feel a weight of emotion so deep that even the most stoic of guests had to blink back tears. Before we dive into this unforgettable story, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community at Kindness Story Hub. Like this video if you believe in the power of small acts to change the world, and comment below with your own story of kindness. We love reading them and sharing them with our audience. It was a warm spring afternoon in a small town in Virginia. The kind of day where the sun seems to linger just a little longer, and the breeze carries a promise of new beginnings. Emma and Daniel, high school sweethearts, had finally tied the knot after 10 years of friendship, laughter, and love that had grown steadily, almost imperceptibly, until it became unshakable. Family and friends filled the rustic chapel, their hearts full of joy and anticipation. Among the guests was a little boy named Noah, just 7 years old, wearing a tiny navy suit that was clearly a few sizes too big. Noah wasn't related to either the bride or groom. He was the son of Emma's neighbor, a single mother who worked long hours and rarely had time for social events. Yet Noah had been invited because Emma had a soft spot for children, and she had a way of making everyone feel like family, even strangers. As the ceremony began, Noah fidgeted in his seat, glancing nervously at the aisle where Emma would walk down. He didn't fully understand weddings yet, but he knew this was something important. He had seen his mother cry at movies, and he had felt that same swell of emotion in his own chest when he witnessed a kind gesture. Today, though, he had no idea that he would be called upon to deliver one himself. The officiant began speaking about love, commitment, and the journey two people take together. Everyone listened attentively, smiling softly, occasionally wiping a tear. Emma's eyes sparkled with happiness, and Daniel looked like he was seeing her for the first time all over again. It was beautiful, yet there was a gentle tension in the room, an unspoken awareness that weddings, while joyful, can also bring a wave of emotions that everyone handles differently. Noah's mind was wandering. He noticed a small elderly woman sitting alone in the second row. Her hands trembled slightly as she clutched her handbag. She looked sad, not unhappy, but there was a weight there that Noah felt without fully understanding why. He remembered how his own mother sometimes looked tired, almost invisible to the world. He remembered how it felt when someone simply smiled at him when he needed it most. And in that quiet realization, a thought struck him. Without thinking much about it, he stood up. The string quartet played softly in the background, the officiant paused mid-sentence, and all eyes slowly turned toward the little boy. For a moment, there was a ripple of surprise and confusion. Parents whispered to their children, and the elderly woman looked up with curiosity. Noah cleared his throat, his voice barely above a whisper. "Excuse me," he said. "I just want to say something." The room fell silent. Even the birds outside seemed to hush their singing. He took a deep breath, his small hands gripping the pew in front of him. I think love is not just about marrying someone. It's about caring for everyone. It's about noticing when someone is alone, or sad, or needs help. And I think today, we should all remember to do that. A murmur ran through the crowd. Emma blinked, her mouth slightly open, and Daniel looked at Noah with a mixture of amusement and awe. The elderly woman's eyes began to glisten with tears. Noah looked at her directly, and then back at the audience. Even small things can matter. A smile, a kind word, holding the door open, or just sitting next to someone so they don't feel lonely. He paused, swallowed hard, and then finished, "That's what love really is." The room was silent. A few seconds passed like minutes, and then something remarkable happened. One by one, people began to nod, some quietly wiping tears from their cheeks. The officiant smiled, a hand pressed to his chest, clearly moved beyond words. And the elderly woman in the second row, who had looked so alone, reached out, and another guest gently took her hand. Emma and Daniel held each other tightly, overwhelmed by the depth of a child's simple yet profound words. In that moment, the wedding transformed from a celebration of two people's love into a reminder for everyone present that kindness, even the smallest acts of it, is what truly connects us. After the ceremony, during the reception, Noah's words continued to ripple through the room. Guests spoke softly to each other, sharing stories of small kindnesses they had received or given, laughing and crying in equal measure. Someone brought the elderly woman to the dance floor, and she smiled in a way that lit up the entire room. Noah watched, a shy grin on his face, knowing that he had made a difference, not by grand gestures or expensive gifts, but by simply speaking from his heart. The bride and groom later took Noah aside. Emma knelt down to his level and whispered, "Thank you, Noah. You reminded us all what really matters." Daniel added, "You have a special gift. Never forget it." Noah's mother, who had been standing quietly by, tears streaming down her cheeks, hugged her son tightly, whispering, "I always knew you had a big heart, but today, you showed the world." It was a lesson that lingered far beyond that spring afternoon. Guests left the wedding with more than just memories of a beautiful ceremony. They carried with them a gentle reminder that kindness doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. Sometimes, it is a soft word from a little boy. Sometimes, it is a smile offered to a stranger. Sometimes, it is noticing someone who feels invisible and taking a moment to make them feel seen. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Daniel received countless messages from friends and family, each one telling how Noah's words had inspired them to be kinder in their own lives. One guest wrote about how he had donated to a local shelter after hearing Noah speak. Another shared that he had reached out to a neighbor he hadn't spoken to in years. Even Noah's mother noticed small changes in their neighborhood, neighbors helping each other, people holding doors open, strangers exchanging warm greetings. A single voice, spoken from innocence and sincerity, had reminded a community of what truly matters. Noah himself didn't see it as anything extraordinary. To him, he had only spoken what he felt. But the adults, with all their complexities and worries, realized that a 7-year-old had done something they often struggled to do. He had reminded them that love and kindness are not just for special occasions. They are for every day. Months later, Emma and Daniel invited Noah and his mother over for a small dinner. The little boy, now growing taller and more confident, looked around the table and smiled. "I'm glad everyone was happy that day," he said simply. "I just wanted people to remember to care." And in that moment, everyone at the table understood that he had done far more than speak words. He had sparked a movement of kindness that would ripple far beyond the walls of that small chapel. Stories like Noah's remind us that kindness is not measured in grand gestures or public recognition. It is measured in moments, in noticing the unnoticed, and in speaking the truth of the heart, even if your voice is small. It is in the little things, a smile, a helping hand, a heartfelt word, that love truly grows. And sometimes, it takes the pure honesty of a child to show the rest of us the way. As you go about your day, remember Noah and the wedding where the room fell silent. Remember that your words, your actions, and even your smallest gestures can make a world of difference. A kind word can heal a wounded heart. A smile can lift someone out of despair. And sometimes, a simple act of noticing someone's pain, or offering them comfort, can transform not just a moment, but a life. So, the next time you have the chance, choose kindness. Speak from your heart. Reach out to someone who seems alone. Offer your help without expecting anything in return. Because you never know, one small act could set off a chain reaction that changes a community, a family, or even the world, and who knows? Maybe one day, your words or actions will be the ones that make an entire room fall silent in awe, in gratitude, and in love. Remember, it doesn't take age, wealth, or fame to make a difference. It takes a heart willing to care. Just like Noah did.